You're listening to What's in Store, the official Hardlines podcast series, bringing you the hottest conversations with players in the home improvement retail industry, and brought to you by Geldwen.
I'm Steve Payne, the editor of Hardlines, and I'm here with Sylvain Laferriere and Marilyne Laferriere of, what do we call you guys now? You're in
Friends?
Mackenzie, BC, northern BC.
Yeah.
You used to be known as Ace Victory Building Center. Now, since January the 1st of this year, you're just Victory Building Center.
That's correct.
Correct.
So, welcome to the Hardlines podcast.
Thank you.
To those in the industry who know about it, Ace International took their time when PV Industries decided at the time in around April or May, they made the announcement that they would have to, for business reasons, let the Ace license, which they held, go at the end of last year. And then Ace International didn't tell the dealers, the Canadian dealers of the Ace store, of the Ace stores, about 75 of them, that they wouldn't support them further beyond the end of the PV contract. So how did you feel about how Ace International handled things, Sylvain?
Oh, I felt actually kind of left out. I think many dealers felt the same way. Like I mentioned, it was something like they didn't show up to the ball game. They just weren't there. Many of us dealers did reach out for anything from them, and no, there was no response. Along the way, I just got to say we did make some really good friends at PV and so on, but I don't think they had the support that Ace International should have given them as well. Yeah. And then they tell us about, okay, you got to take your signage off by the end of December, like December 31st. Well, remember where we live now. We live in the north, and to go up these signs that are 30 feet high and so on, it was very uncomfortable. And the threat of, hey, if you don't have your sign down, there was a big dollar value per day if you left them up.
How much was it a day?
I think it was 5,000. You could be fined $5,000 a day, whether that's real or not. But like I said, it just so happened we ended up with not a Chinook or whatever, but they got mild enough that we could do it.
Yeah.
But we'd have been in trouble had this been a normal winter. And cold and windy and dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to go through that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we got it. We managed.
Yeah.
We managed it. Thank you, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just by way of background, Ace had about 80 dealers in Canada that it had to stop supporting, stop supplying, and ask them to take their Ace branding down as of January the 1st of this year. So what have you done for supply? Where is that at in terms of the brand?
Take that one away.
For supply, we're still affiliated with Sexton Group, and our largest supplier is Orville. We do still have relationships with other vendors, such as Whirlpool and a few others that are not connected necessarily to Sexton. So we've kind of kept relationships, and we've looked for other suppliers locally, which we've been successful at making a relationship with them for certain needs that we used to buy out of the distribution center.
And it's very important for us to do as much local as possible. We have one last standing mill, we'll say, that cuts dimensional lumber, and we cater to the dimensional through them and only them. That's Conifex. They've been good suppliers of us. We've been supplying them or supporting them for a good, or they've been supporting us for a good 10 years now. It's a good relationship.
So I want to set the scene because you're way up there in Mackenzie. This is spoken like a true Toronto boy. Way up there.
Way up there.
Way up there. But this
Yep.
is this is the Canadian landscape. You operate from, I know that when you spoke at our, about 16 months ago at our Hardlines conference in Whistler, you traveled about 10 hours down to Whistler, right? And
Yeah.
Whistler is about 2 hours north of Vancouver. So you're 12 hours north of Vancouver. What is Mackenzie like?
What is Mackenzie like?
It's fairly remote. We're
Yeah.
2 hours from any other town. Just 2 hours to Chetwynd and 2 hours to Prince George, in opposite directions.
And
And
it's
now how it's like, Steve, for me is that it's because I've lived here for so long. It's not the Mackenzie we used to know. It's very, very different. So many jobs were available. We probably had 7 mills at the time, sawmills mostly. We had a pulp mill, a paper machine. It was a busy place. You couldn't get into the curling evenings, for example. It was tough to get in anywhere, as the pubs were busy. Now it's just very quiet. It's becoming a seniors haven. Yeah.
So it's got a population of 3,800 people officially. And Sylvain, you're almost a native of Mackenzie. You've been here in the town over 53 years. And Marilyne, you're not accepted yet by the people of Mackenzie because you've only been here 22 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm accepted, but still, I'm still quite new.
So one of the things was we gave you, Hardlines gave you an Outstanding Retailer Award in 2019. No, didn't give it to you. You earned it for the independent spirit. And the independent spirit was in 2005, you opened up a hardware store or building supply store in a former finishing or furnishing store. What was it? It was Mackenzie Interiors?
Yeah, it was Mackenzie
Right.
Interiors when we bought it. And
What made you do that?
I just wanted to have a bigger reach out into the community. We had people asking us for certain products that we didn't sell. And so we just thought we'd add things gradually, and it kind of became a bigger project the more we went along.
And then all hell broke loose because
Yeah.
3 years after you opened the store, the mill started closing.
Yes.
That was painful. And you wrote in your entry that there was a need for more than customer service. More than that, there was a need to lift morale because the town was kind of beaten up, right? So you introduced ballroom dancing.
Actually, just dancing, not ballroom dancing.
Just not ballroom dancing.
Just whatever
No.
we felt like doing, what the instructor wanted to teach that night.
Well, that's even more exciting.
Yes.
So how did you get through those years?
Really, we just kind of gathered together with people from town and tried to find out what people wanted, and we catered to people in a different way. We always just sort of struggled to bring in products that nobody else had in town. It was, honestly, it was just trying to lift morale and get people to see the positive side of life during a difficult financial time for a lot of people.
And we went from a 12-hour day to a 16-hour day, and life was good. Then we also had a roofing company at the time.
Yes.
So that helped out. So then, of course, being supplier of the product and then installing, I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. That gave us the edge to keep going. Yeah, were you still barbering as well on the side?
No, when I was a barber formally before we bought the store, and I did keep my barber shop open for about 6 months, and then realized that it was going to be just a little bit too much work to do both. So I closed down the barber shop, and I had an injured elbow, so it was probably for the best. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about your new venture. Marilyne and Sylvain promised not to reveal it until we got live on the interview. So what's all about your new venture?
Well, our new venture, honestly, has nothing to do with building center or building products or flooring. It's nothing like that. It's completely out. So we've had this opportunity where I know of someone that's quite successful in basically attending events. So what they do is we now travel from wherever the area is, and hopefully northern Alberta, BC, not too far. However, we're going to end up going to Kelowna here in 2 weeks. And we attend events. And with these events, we come in with a huge selection of shirts, hoodies, crew necks, and then we slap on whatever logo you want with your name on it, or we have these little sayings that you can imprint on there. It's been a lot of fun. We've done the national speed skating last weekend in Prince George. Yeah,
that was our first event, junior national speed skating competition in Prince George, and so it went really well.
The concept is you provide logoed clothing.
Yes,
correct, on site.
On site. So do you have to have logo application machines on site with you?
yes.
Like how do you operate that? You can see that you can take the order for a logoed shirt, like a hockey association or something, or a speed skating, like you said. But doing it live,
Yeah,
it's quite a trick, right?
Yeah, so we come in and we offer, well, basically any one color vinyl you want on your shirt, but it has to be one color because we can't bring this massive piece of equipment. Ours is very portable. So any one color you want. And like I said, with the logo, the name, some funny sayings, decals.
Yeah, like this group per se had a choice of 65 logos besides the official speed skating logo. And so they could also get their name put on their shirt, on their sleeve, on their back. It was fun because people get really excited because they have some choices to make. And there's some really cute sayings for different sports. And we'll be covering dance, figure skating, that kind of thing. And we have a vinyl printer. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's called, but that's what I call it. So it's just a big machine with blades. You put a roll of vinyl in, you send the logo to the printer, and it just prints it out. You peel off the excess vinyl and apply it with a heat press. And ta-da, you're done. So it's pretty simple and basic, but it's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of steps to it too, though.
Yeah.
Steve, if you don't mind, I'd like to take the opportunities out there, your listeners, if they want their logos on their shirts, let us know. No, seriously, if we love doing this.
Yeah. We'll put I think Sarah can put Sylvain or Marilyne's email on the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I'm sure that's possible.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So you've also got a garden center or a greenhouse that's going as well. That's a relatively new venture. What is that about?
We started that in 2020. We had ordered the plants before we knew COVID was coming.
Yes.
And
explain how we started though with hauling them up to the front of the roadside. And
we ordered, we basically had to order a certain amount of racks of plants to get started. We didn't actually have a greenhouse per se. So I think our first order was like 7 racks of plants, and we did well, so we ordered more. But every night we'd have to, because it's cold in Mackenzie in May, beginning of May, it was like, probably 2 degrees, so we couldn't leave the plants out. So we had to bring them into the store every night and then haul them out every day. And it was really a fun venture. People were excited. There was another greenhouse in town, but there was room enough for both of us. So it went really well. So the next year we went bigger, of course, but we still didn't have our greenhouse. And finally, the third year, we actually built the greenhouse from the ground up, putting pilings in the ground in the fall. It was raining, it was miserable, but we got the job done. And so now we can bring our plants in a little bit earlier. We don't have to move them in and out every single day. And it's kind of been a joy for the community. So we're planning on doing it again this year. We weren't really sure because there was a lot of unknowns last year. And but yeah, it's been a really good addition to our business, and it's a personal sort of a personal love of mine.
Yeah. You guys are so entrepreneurial. I want to talk about one of the things that Sylvain mostly does. I don't know if Marilyne has appeared in these videos, but Sylvain, you do very funny videos. You distribute them via social media. And we're just going to show one right now.
Okay. Hello, this is Sylvain from Victory Building Center. You're wondering why I'm wearing this, but we've sold a few of these now, these units that people have gone to the washroom and they've had troubles getting up off their toilet. And so you've got two models. You can have this one here, or you can have one with the actual winch that will help you up, get you off the toilet. Or the other alternative you have is you can get yourself a tall boy. The tall boy right here sits up, I believe it's like 17.3 inches. It's amazing. It's off the floor. If you've got bad hips, bad knees, this is, you just basically slide off, you're done. So you have your choice here at Victory Building Center. We can set you up with a winch and a rope and one of these lanyards, or you should go to the toilet, the tall boy. All right, we have others to choose from. We have the Madison, the American Standard, and a couple of other choices that you can choose from. They're all great price, and we'd be happy to serve you. So come on in at Victory Building Center, and we'll talk to you soon.
So Sylvain, how do you get those out there in the community?
Mostly through, I go through Canva is what I do normally. I go through Canva, I do all my social media stuff, and then automatically goes to Facebook and Instagram, which is easy. As far as the videos I uploaded, well, I'm not a techie like the person that's running on your end right now. I just kind of, the reason for that is life is just too serious. People are taking it way too seriously, right? So I got to have fun with it. And some of them, I don't know, maybe people think I've crossed the line a little bit. I don't care. It's whatever, right? Yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
There's a line?
There's a line, Steve.
Nobody told me about a line.
But life is just like, you've met these people. They're very, very serious. And I don't know, life's too short. My age, I guess, I look at it, life is way too short.
Yeah.
You got to have fun. You got to have fun. And you got to be, of course, you've got to be successful. You've got to work hard. You got to achieve goals. But why can't you have it while you're having fun?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, we just gave an outstanding retailer award to Philippe Savard-Tremblay, who's in Métabetchouan, Lac-à-la-Croix. He's a castle dealer in sort of central eastern Quebec. And he's a social media wizard. He and you, Sylvain, would get along like a house on fire. I want to connect you with Philippe so that you can exchange videos, because he said that you'd have to be an entertainer to get people to shop in your store. And so it's all about the entertainment value. And he's got signature social media moves. He's a young lad.
Yeah.
He's in his 20s. So he's
good for him.
But I want to connect you too.
I'd like that.
So
yeah, thank you.
So you talked about the mills shutting down, and you lost customers and you lost staff, and then you got a standing ovation at the end of your presentation in Whistler. You notified the room that a Mitsubishi hydrogen plant was to be built near McLeod Lake, near you, in partnership with an indigenous band. Is that going to be a major part of the regeneration of Mackenzie?
Wow, that's a heavy one. I so believe, totally believe it's going to transform this community. It's like we're only an hour away from site. Not everybody likes to live in this city, which is Prince George, we're about halfway between Prince George and where this location of this hydrogen plant's going to be, between Prince George and Mackenzie. I think we're just absolutely going to boom in Mackenzie. I think we'll see new construction going on, which we see maybe 1 or 2 houses every 7 years, 8 years built. Yeah, it's going to be big. It's the infrastructure is there. They've got rail, they've got water, they've got pipelines going through there. It just makes sense to have it located where they've got it planned.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Standing ovation in the room, because we know what you've gone through in Mackenzie, and you've toughed it out. I really appreciate you joining us. What's new in the next year? What are you looking for in 2025? All Canadians are freaked out about the tariffs that Trump is apparently going to levy on us.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about 2025?
Well, a little apprehensive, I think, like most of us are. I should add, there's another venture that's coming in that's been announced as well. They've tied in with a different band that's called Seke Dene. What they want to do is put a biofuels, and that'd be right directly in Mackenzie, the Mackenzie area. So it's the company's called Provectus Biofuels. And what they do is they take secondary fiber out there, there's a lot of waste out there, and haul it in and then create this biofuel with whatever patented idea they have. And theoretically, what I'm told is that everything's going to be like the fuel is going to be 30% cheaper. It can go 30% farther. Your engine's going to last 30% longer. It's something like that that's very well needed in the north here in Mackenzie. And I think if that's a go, there'll be other areas that they could expand that technology to. What else is there? There's a daycare that's being built right now.
Yep.
And that's brand new to us. It's they're about halfway through, I'm thinking. And there's a huge, massive upgrade in the gas lines and so on up north here, which is about, when I say up north, it's probably only like half hour away from Mackenzie. And that's a 2-year project with this upgrade. So Mackenzie is coming, and it's just going to be, I think, if we can get all this happening here, and then Mitsubishi expansion, it could be just absolutely massive for Mackenzie.
And another thing too is we're getting a better quality internet, and so that was kind of that was kind of one of the things that was preventing people from moving to Mackenzie, because a lot of people can now work remotely, but it was hard to do that without a good internet connection. So there's a brand new company coming in providing us with a much better internet system. And we do have young families that move in because they like the outdoors. It's quiet. Homes are relatively inexpensive compared to anywhere else in the province. And so, we went down to the lake this summer. We have a beautiful lake just 5 minutes from our house in Mackenzie. And we saw a bunch of these young families out there having fun with their children. So that's kind of exciting for me, knowing that that's drawing a younger population to Mackenzie as well.
That's a fantastic positive development. Lots of positive developments for Mackenzie.
Yes. Yeah.
Good luck with your Victory Building Center.
Thank you.
Thank
As
you.
an independent, as a new independent.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you will absolutely hit it out of the park because of your entrepreneurialism and your spirit.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
for talking to us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Steve.